So this should come out to be 80, and it would be in feet. We're doing a perimeter, it would be in feet. Okay, and then a restaurant owner is wanting to put a patio because some people like to eat outside because they like bugs and heat and cold. But that's the hotness now, is the patios. We have it never really said rectangular, but we're sort of assuming that these are all rectangular problems. We really shouldn't be assuming that, but you know, what can you do? 16 feet by 25 yards. What do we do?
Well, you gotta convert.
Which way you want to go? Yards to feet, is that what you said? Okay, so if you put them in feet, then this is how many feet?
Well, if we take 25 times 30, yeah, 75 feet.
Okay, so that'll be 75 feet. And again, it doesn't matter if you go in yards or feet, but don't mix the, like they need to both be in the same thing before you find area or perimeter. All right, so we're multiplying 16 by 75. Matt, what's that?
I don't remember.
1,200.
That's a lot.
Well, what kind of calculator is that?
Whoa! Isn't that exciting? It'd be in feet squared. That is. What? You couldn't even answer the last question. You got to earn it. This is an app that is, it's like a simulator for a TI-83 calculator, TI-83 Plus. And I paid for it, but it wasn't crazy expensive. You cannot use that on tests or quizzes. That's why you have to have a handheld. But you know, it's handy when you don't have it with you or whatever. So I can tell you the name of the app if you care later. All right. So for circles, remember I told you that I wanted exact values. So when it says in terms of pi, that means leave pi in your answer. Which is nice, because then it doesn't have to be like, oh, did you run to the tenths or hundreds? We got a different answer, so just because of rounding or did you do something wrong? Everyone should get the same answer, 25 pi or 85 pi, you know, whatever the answer is. Okay, so reminder, circumference is 2 pi r or pi d, because it takes 2 radii to make a diameter. All right, so it's the same formula, just in a different form. And then area is pi r squared. What's the way to remember which one's which? Because like people will be like, oh, I know it's pi r squared, but I can't remember if it's area or if it's circumference. How do you remember?
Area always.
Will.
The one you know because it'll say circumference.
No, I'm saying, how do you remember which one is the pi r squared one? You let me down.
Oh, okay. So I would think about it. It's pi r squared. Because like no, because area is like the 2 on it.
Yes. Okay, because area is measured in square units. I thought Anna was going to have to save you. Because area is measured in square units, that's the one that has the r squared. Okay, so if you know the 2 formulas but you get confused which one's which, then try to remember that the r squared is going to go with the square unit 1, which is area. So for this one, circumference would be what?
8 pi.
Yeah, they gave you the diameter, right? So that's going to be 8 pi. What's the label?
Pi squared.
Centimeters. All right, and then area is pi times the radius squared. So the radius would be 4. So we've got 16 pi centimeters squared. Okay, and again, you'll leave a pi in your answer. Okay, how about this one?
The area should always be more than circumference.
No, because they're different units. Circumference is a linear distance, and area is filling up the interior with little squares. So they're not really comparable because they're different units of measurement. So the number, I mean, generally yes, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Like circumference is like a length, and then
Yes.
the area is kind of like smaller.
No, the area is area. It's filling up the inside with little 1 by 1 squares. Okay. Jake, circumference.
I'll get the life saving test out.
I already got it, Mrs.
Alright, so
Davis.
basically what you want to do, you're going to want to take 9 times 2 is the diameter.
Okay, do you have to do that to circumference?
No, it's shorter to remember though. I like it better. So 18 times.
Okay, that's fine. You can do 2 pi times 9. So 18 pi, that's fine. Or you can just,
Do it in your head.
yeah, anyway. Okay, so feet And then area would be how much?
81 pi feet squared.
81 pi feet squared. You're squaring 9 and then multiplying by pi.
I'm looking at it. It has to work. Would you like us to just do the calculation times pi? Okay.
You'll leave them in terms of pi on your homework, and yes, I mean, every once in a while a problem will say round to the nearest whatever, but generally the default is I want you to give pi answers. And this book, they usually say that, but even if the directions in the book say to round, the only time I really want you to round is if you're trying to compare two areas or it's a word problem or something where having 81 pi is not as understandable as having a decimal approximation. Because in real life, you're going to be, rounding anyway. You're not going to like use 81 pi for the area of something. So, okay. So shaded region area. Whitney, how would you find the shaded region, the gray part?
Would you find the area of both of them first and then subtract?
Okay. So if you do the whole, and you subtract off the little white part, that's going to leave you with the shaded area, right? Okay, so Veronica, what's the area, how do you find the area of the big one?
You would do the sides of the large one and then subtract those areas.
Okay, how do you find the area of the large one though? That's my question.
18 times 12.
Okay, and then you're subtracting off what?
12.
Yeah. Yeah, you're subtracting off, here, I'll write it. You're subtracting off 4 times 3 or 12. Okay, so 18 times 12. Oops. Wow, that was a matrix or something. 18 times 12. And you're subtracting off 12. Oh, that'd be 17 times 12. 204. What's the label? Centimeters squared. Okay. A few different ways you can do number 16. I want to hear from a girl that I haven't called on yet. You know.
You could divide into 3 rectangles. Either like you could draw like vertical lines or horizontal lines.
Yeah, you can either do it that way, or if you really like horizontal, you could go this way. Okay, that works fine. Which way do you prefer? Do you want me to go back to verticals?
Sure.
All right, so, and there's another way to do this too. So somebody be on deck here. If you have a different way of doing this, then you can tell me in a minute. Okay, so do you know how long these segments are?
And they would all be 6 meters because this is divided into 2 of those.
Yeah, so don't assume that those are always going to be evenly divided, but on this particular problem they are. Okay, do we know this dimension?
That you would add 3 with 3
Yep,
to that, and so it would be 6 meters, and the other one would be 9.
and that's 9. Okay, so if we do the individual little rectangles, we'll have a 3 by 6, we'll have a 6 by 6, and we'll have a 6 by 9. So we have 18, 36, and 54. Oh, and what does that add up to? Do you agree? Meters squared. Okay, so fast way to add that would be, that's 90, right? And then another 18. Okay, so we have a different way of doing that that might be kind of snazzy, jazzy, super cool, easy peasy, impressive. Not impressive, but easy. Quinn?
Find the area of the entire box, the entire rectangle, and then find the area of the white parts and subtract.
Okay, you could also subtract. I'm not sure if that's a lot easier, but it would work, right? Kind of about the same amount of work probably as the way we just did. Somebody see a different way?
You could do it vertically and horizontal.
Yes, you could. I'm trying to get more clever,
You
not
could
less
take
clever.
Inverse of it. And,
What do you mean?
that's the part that's like, right.
Wait, could you just make a box?
Like,
Yeah, just stack them.
Well, I think what you're saying is kind of what Gwyneth
Yeah.
said, right?
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
So since it's three,
So-
it's three high, and wait, since it's three high,
You could take
and
off
on
the
the
end
top
and
of the
put it
second
on the
box,
top.
you need three above that. Can you just stack those two and you create a mega cube?
Oh.
So we take that guy.
Oh,
The dimensions of that one are the same. It would fill in up here.
Yeah, you know it's a puzzle piece.
That's nice, right? That again, that is always happening there.
Yeah, they call me.
The mega cube.
It's not really a cube, but
They call
okay.
him Wet Willie first.
All right, so 108 would give you the
I don't know
same.
about all that.
You'd be multiplying 9 by 8 by 12, right? It'd be a 9 by 12 square, which would also give you 108. All right, we are booking right along here. Okay, who's good at algebra?
Me.
Who's good at algebra? See, why do all the boys in the back corner go me, and everyone else just sits there? Really? I'm what? I don't know. I wasn't listening. Anna, tell me how to do this one. Shh. A rectangle's length is twice its width. The area is given, and we're looking for the perimeter.
Well, so that would be 2L plus L. Wait.
The area is given, right? The length is twice the width.
So 2L times L.
If this is the width, what is the expression for the length? The length,
Oh, 2W.
yeah. So the length is twice the width is what that one's saying. So your dimensions are really W and 2W. Okay, and then the area is 48. So which formula are we starting with?
The area one.
The area one. Okay, so it's length times width.
So 2W times W.
All right, so 48 is 2W times W. I want Anna to continue.
Sorry.
I know you are.
That's 2W squared.
2W squared. Remember when you multiply a variable by itself, it bumps up the exponent.
And then
Okay.
we divide 48 by 2,
Good.
which is 24, and then you take the square root of 24.
So 24 is W squared. And then how do you think I want you to give that answer?
Radical form.
Radical form. Okay, so Maura, can you tell me how to break down square root of 24?
4 and 6, and then you put 2 on the outside, and then the 6 on the inside.
Good. Okay. Have we answered the question?
Yes.
No. All that work and we still have not answered the question.
Oh, wow.
Whew. Geometry is hard.
It's okay.
Okay, now for the
It's not
perimeter.
worth it.
That's like video. Matt Welch just said it wasn't worth it.
Easier just to measure it out.
Well, you can't really measure 2 root 6 very well.
Yeah.
If that's 2 root 6, how long is the length?
4 root 2.
4 root 6. When you double, it doesn't change the radical part, it just multiplies the number in the front by 2. Okay, so that would make this one 4 root 6. All right, so for perimeter, we're doing 2 root 6, 2 root 6s, right? And 2 4 root 6s.
4 root 6. 6 root 6. And 10 root 6.
4 root 6. Allie, what's 2 times 4 root 6?
8 root 6.
Thank you, Allie. When you add this together, in a tree loft, can you tell me how to add those?
It would be 12 or 6.
How confident are you in that answer?
Pretty confident.
Good.
Okay.
What's the label?
Unit. Inches.
Squares.
Is it inches or inches squared? It's inches.
Oh,
See how I put perimeter there? That's to help me remember through the whole problem that I'm doing perimeter. So at the end I don't do something silly like write inches squared on the perimeter answer. Okay? If you leave a label off or if you incorrectly label something, it's usually going to be like a half a point or something. If you, depending on the problems, if there's a whole bunch of problems and you leave it off on like all of them, then I might take off like 1 or 2 for like all the problems.